Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Commissioners Court. I've got 10 o'clock, so I call this meeting to order. We will begin as usual this morning with an invocation, followed by the pledges. Dear Lord, I come to you this morning and thank you for the start of a new day, a new week. Thank you, Lord, for the rain that we've gotten. Pray that you would be with us in the decisions before us today and in our many activities in the week ahead. In your name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
I
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right, the next item we have on our agenda this morning is citizens communication. Anyone who would like to address the court on any county-related business is welcome to do so at this time. Yes, ma'am, come on up. If you just give us your name for the record, please.
I'm Shelley Levine, and I'm with the Victoria 4-H Shotgun Club. I'm here today on behalf of our club and the usage of the Victoria Skeeton Track Club. It's come to our attention that the lease is nearing an end, and we're very concerned about what's going to happen with our kiddos, where they will be able to shoot. We currently have 65 members in our club. There are about 150 kids that actually use the range. They are 4-H kids coming from other counties that do not have a place to practice. Without that facility for our kids to practice, the closest place for them to be able to practice is in the Corpus area. That's an hour and a half one way, however many times a week they choose to practice. So with that being said, our major concern is what is going to happen to this group of kiddos that do use the range as a practice field. From our 65 kids, we have one who has made the state team representing Victoria and the state of Texas, who will be participating in a national shoot in Nebraska this month, in a couple weeks. This child also, by going to many different shoots over his 4 years in high school, has won about $40,000 in scholarships for college, which is an amazing thing. He's a wonderful, wonderful kid, but he's not a top kid in class, so he would not be able to have those kinds of scholarships without the 4-H Shotgun Club. Sure. We have another young man who graduated 2 years ago from Victoria West, who is now on the A&M shooting team, who was one of our members. His sister is still shooting with us. We have a very wide variety of kids from third grade through seniors in high school, both male and female. Our female section is really growing, which is really good to see. We also do a lot of community service for our community. These kids work at the nursing homes. They ring bells during Christmas for Salvation Army. They work at the food bank. They've given to Victoria County, I don't want to say dog pound, but out to that facility. They've donated to that facility as well. They do a lot of work out at the Skeeton Track Club, keeping the fields up, maintaining, just a lot of things out in the community. We also put on a very big shoot in March, the end of March, beginning of April, where we have about 150 kids come in from across Texas to shoot. Through this, we have been awarded the hotel occupancy tax award 2 years because of the number of people we are bringing in. So the range is very much a huge part of this group of kiddos. We are just hoping that through negotiations that we can come up with y'all in the Skeeton Track Club can come up with a reasonable number for what they need to pay for their lease. It is a huge thing. It's very dear to my heart. I don't even have kids in 4-H anymore, but I am still doing this. This will be my 10th year as club manager for these kiddos, and I haven't had a kid shooting in 5 years. Very near and dear, very close-knit group of kiddos that represent our community extremely well. Overall, not to mention this kid who's got 40,000 in scholarships, we have a middle school kid who already has $6,000 in scholarship money sitting, waiting for him. So this facility, like I said, is very near and dear to our heart. We really want to come to some agreement so that we know we have a place to go, because we know that in 2 years when that lease is up, we have no place to go other than to go to Corpus. So we just ask that you think long and hard and really try to come to a agreement with the Skeeton Trout Club members to keep the facility going for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.
So how many, when you have your shoots, it's just one shoot a year with the 150 here? All right. Well,
Goes over 2 days.
2 days.
Yes.
well, thank you for talking, but you can rest assured that
Yeah.
this is not gonna, this ain't gonna die.
No.
Well,
There's no way.
and I would
Really,
also like,
I mean-
we only have meetings September through May,
Mm-hmm.
but we do continue to practice during the summer. And our next practice is next Sunday at 2:00. We welcome you to come out, talk to the kids, talk to the parents, hear the kids' version of why they want the range and what the range means to them.
I've been out there, they're great kids.
Yeah, they are. They are.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Other comments this morning in citizens' communication?
You're no citizen.
Good morning, Rick.
How you doing?
This is not on the agenda, so good
What do
morning.
you want?
Well, just to remind you, this June 2nd, so hurricane season is officially here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, a lot of the predictions are out there. So as we started the season, wanted to give a gratitude of thanks to the commissioners, except for Commissioner Martin wasn't able to make it. But we had our emergency management conference this past week, and so thank each and every one of you that were able to attend. I know that Commissioner Martin was tied up, so I gave him a little bit of a hard time. But we had representation from the Sheriff's Office, Fire Department, both fire chiefs were there. Health Department, we had a great show of people that were there. Judge did a fantastic job at his presentation, got a lot of positive feedback. But the inclusion of each and every one of you at that conference shows our constituents throughout the state on how vested you are and interested in the emergency management program here in Victoria, so we greatly appreciate it. We took, I think, 18 people. Fantastic conference, came back with a lot of knowledge. So just want to tell you all, thank you again for attending. Your support is greatly appreciated. And next year, Commissioner Martin, you get to go with us. So, but thank you again.
Well, you know, your judge's session was really good. I mean, it's completely full. That room was
was.
packed. I think there was a lot of interest in it. It was really, kudos to the judge and to you. Y'all both
Yep.
made Victoria look good.
It was,
We appreciate it.
we definitely wanted to showcase the leadership that we get from the judge and from this Commissioner's Court. And so we, from our professional peers that are out there, really said that was unheard of. They don't normally receive that. And so thank y'all again, Judge.
You're
Great
welcome.
job.
Thank you, Rick.
You're welcome.
Well done.
And welcome hurricane season.
Now we have another citizen.
John is also a citizen.
He's also a citizen.
Morning,
Judge
John.
and Commissioners, it's my pleasure to introduce Avery Fleschner. This is
I
his
didn't
first
even
day
see
with the
Avery
county.
sitting over there.
Avery will assume Assistant City County Engineer position, and looking forward to working with him and working with you guys.
Wonderful. Well, welcome, Avery. I know
Welcome, Avery.
Well, John has asked for years for this position to be created, and the need for that has become abundantly clear over the years, and certainly now with all the big things we've got going on. So we're all very excited and delighted to have you on board, and to jump right in, we've got a lot of big things, projects and grants and all kinds of stuff going on. So it's the perfect time and a big need. So appreciate you coming over here to the county, and you've got a great group to work with over there in the engineering and development area. So welcome.
Welcome, sir.
Welcome, Avery.
Grateful for the opportunity and excited to get to work. Absolutely.
That's what we like to hear. Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you, John.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Load him up, John.
Yep.
Yep.
Other comments this morning in citizens' communication? let's see. Lenny, yes, sir, good morning.
Good morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners. I just wanted to inform the public, Judge, that as we move forward on our Taxi with Charlie project, there is going to be a period of time in which we're going to have to inevitably close the runway. That will disrupt our passenger traffic through SkyWest Airlines for a little bit. We're looking right now on a schedule, possibly first part of July towards the end of July. It could take anywhere between 2 to 4 weeks, but we're trying to work with the construction company to make that faster. I've been in communication with SkyWest Airlines. They're working with us. So we will put an announcement, and I will work with Lauren to get that out to the public. You know, these things happen in projects like this, and it's getting to that point. But I will keep you updated on what's going on. Thank you, sir.
Okay.
Very good,
Thank
thanks,
you, sir.
Lenny. Other comments in citizens' communication? I have one update, an unfortunate one, related to the legislative session. Our hot tax legislation effort got to the very end of the finish line, but unfortunately did not make it over. Over the weekend, all the nearly 30 hot legislation efforts from various communities around the state all died a death right at the end of the session due to really no issue or controversy or opposition to our bill, to our effort here in Victoria County, but a casualty of circumstances outside of Victoria. That did not materialize, and I know we've talked about that at length up here. Had we been successful in that effort, it would have brought in probably $10 to $15 million over the next 20 years. I was on a call with the State Hotel Lodging Association this morning, talking about how we will pursue this once again in the next session, but that, of course, is in 2027. It is unfortunate it got extremely close, but that did not materialize. Of course, like we've seen with a lot of efforts here lately, a lot of what we've accomplished, the results we've seen have been years and years in the making, and our hot legislation may just be another one of those examples. So although it didn't pass this time, we'll continue pursuing that. I will really credit Representative Louderback for being so helpful and effective in getting it to as far as it did. Couldn't have got as far as we had gotten without him, his effort, but like with most bills, most don't pass, and we were part of the statistic this time. So unfortunate news, but that did transpire over the last 48 hours. On a bright note, we've all seen where the A&M legislation was signed into law, so with the one loss, we have one big win for Victoria, so excited to see that, but there's the hot legislation update. Let's see, Rick already gave us the grim notice that hurricane season, the reminder hurricane season has started. Those are the only two things I had on my list. Anything up here? If there's nothing else, we'll move right along in the agenda to item number 4, which is to consider approval of minutes and take appropriate action. Each of you have a copy of those minutes in your agenda packets.
Move for approval. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 5, consider approval of accounts payable and take appropriate action.
Accounts payable for June 2nd, 2025 for $547,324.17. Supplemental payments are $139,249.98.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Thank you, Michelle. Item 6 is to receive monthly and quarterly reports from various county officials and departments and take appropriate action.
Good morning. Today we have the monthly report from the county clerk.
Move to receive.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 7, consider approval of bond forfeiture releases and take appropriate action.
We have none this morning.
All easy enough. Thank you, Heidi. We'll move then to item 8, which is to consider approval of Citizens Medical Center interim vendor payments. We each have the memo from the hospital dated May 29th, which shows those interim vendor payments totaling $163,917.49. The ACH report on that same date totaled $2,301,835.99.
Move for approval. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item number 9 is to hear a proclamation designating the month of June as Elder Abuse Awareness Month and take appropriate action. Let's see, do we have any of our local organizations here in regard to this resolution, proclamation? Okay, I know sometimes we do, sometimes we don't, but even though it's just
Danny's
us
here.
this morning,
Right.
I will read this proclamation that we do on an annual basis because it is an important issue. It reads as follows: whereas older adults and people with disabilities of diverse backgrounds contribute to the well-being of our community by working, caregiving, volunteering, and actively preserving customs and traditions, and whereas as we age, we build momentum by accumulating knowledge, experience, insight, and wisdom that can be shared to enrich our community, and whereas abuse of older adults and people with disabilities is a community concern affecting thousands of people across Texas, and whereas abuse affected more than 123,000 older adults and people with disabilities in Texas last year, and whereas adult abuse affects men and women of all income and ability levels, all cultural and ethnic backgrounds, and in all communities, and whereas elder abuse is everyone's business, it's important to strengthen our efforts to prevent, report, and address elder abuse. Now therefore be it resolved that the Victoria County Commissioners Court does hereby proclaim the month of June to be Elder Abuse Awareness Month in Victoria County, and we urge all residents to work together to reduce abuse and neglect of the older adults and people with disabilities in our community. Do we have a motion to receive?
Move
that
to receive.
proclamation?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 10 is another proclamation. This one's to hear a proclamation designating the week of June 1st, 2025 as Victoria Bach Festival Week and take appropriate action. I do see some folks here from the Bach Festival. Not to put y'all, or I don't know if you intended to be put on the spot. Y'all want to come up here? David, tell us, let's see, you're the
Come on down.
chair, I believe, this year.
Yes, sir.
Come on up.
Tell us all about it.
A lot going on this week with the Bach Fest. Welcome. Thanks for being
Certainly
here.
do. Thank you for having me, having us, Judge Zeller, and commissioners. It's an honor to be here.
Good morning.
Thank you for all you do for the county. Truly appreciate it. We are celebrating 50 years of the Bach Festival this week. We've had 2 opening concerts this weekend in Goliad at the Presidio La Bahia, a beautiful concert at the historic Presidio, as well as a concert in Rockport yesterday, which was incredibly successful. This week, we are looking forward to many firsts, as well as many remembrances and honoring the past 50 years. Even tonight, we will have a reclamation of the very first Bach Festival concert that we've ever had. We will bring that back. And so throughout this week, we'll have highlights such as one of the best pianists in the world, frankly, a child prodigy who now is a teacher, an instructor at University of Texas, and has performed in many halls, won just about every elite piano competition. That is Anton Nell. He'll have a solo recital, which is a rare and extraordinary event on Friday in Victoria, as well as play at our finale. We will have tomorrow a Mass in B minor, which is one of Bach's preeminent works and one of the most renowned works in classical literature, that there is, and that's going to be in honor of one of our sponsors and great Victoria County citizens, which is Robbie Burge, Robbie and Tammy, who has sponsored that. So we are delighted to be able to honor his memory in that. We'll also, for the finale, have, again, for a first, a Grammy-nominated composer, Juan Pablo Contreras, has composed his first symphony for us for the Victoria Bach Festival, and we'll have the world premiere of that. Again, that we'll have Anton now performing at that finale, with as well as Rhapsody in Blue, an incredible composition, and Brahms' First Symphony, all on Friday. So these are just a few of the many highlights. I think we've got 15, 16, 17 different events, activities, and performances throughout this week. And this is a regular occurrence that we have every year, the first week in June, for the past 50 years. So it's an honor to serve as chair alongside so many dedicated, inspired, long-standing individuals. In fact, at tonight's concert, I believe we'll have 5 individuals who were at that very first concert, just to show you the long-standing dedication that the Bach Festival holds in people's hearts. So have our executive director here, Buck Moore, with me. He leads everything behind and in front of the scenes, frankly, to help keep everything rolling. And we're just honored that you would consider this proclamation and truly appreciate it.
Well, thank you, David Buck. We're delighted to do this, and really the Bachfest is a jewel that we have here in Victoria that rivals any other big city around the state, country, frankly, and wonderful performances. I know we've got a whole family has tickets for the Friday night show performance that we're looking forward to. So we're, on behalf of the court, very excited to issue this proclamation. It reads as follows, and we'll get a picture with y'all here before you leave, and I'll give this to you. This reads, whereas the Victoria Bach Festival is celebrating its 50th season of free and paid concerts during the week of May 31st through June 6th, and whereas each year in June of these 50 years, nationally recognized musicians in the nation's leading orchestras and professors of music of prestigious universities have come to Victoria from all over the United States, and whereas each year Victorians from all walks of life have enjoyed and been inspired by the music during this amazing week of musical performances, and whereas artistic director Alejandro Hernandez Valdez leads the talented and renowned musicians in diverse and profoundly moving programs of music throughout the city at breakfast, noon, and evening concerts. And whereas the Victoria Bach Festival will have 16 performances, with 8 free to the public, and whereas the Bach Festival continues to support and promote musical excellence through the Emerging Artist Program and children's programs. Now, therefore, I, Ben Zeller, Victoria County Judge, and the Victoria County Commissioners Court does hereby proclaim the week of June 1st, 2025 to be Victoria Bach Festival Week in Victoria County, and we urge our citizens to continue the growth and artistic excellence of this festival by their attendance and support of this important event in our community. So I will give you that, David and Buck, and let's do, Lauren, let's get a picture, and we'll put that on Facebook.
Excellent. Truly
We'll
appreciate
step
it.
right down here.
Doing well.
let's see. On that item, do we have a, thanks again, gentlemen, for being here.
Move
Appreciate
to
y'all.
approve.
Pleasure.
We have a motion to approve that proclamation. Do we have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. All right, next item on our agenda is to, wait. Here we go. Consider approval of order number 2025-049 for the incorporation of the municipality of Bloomington, Texas, and take appropriate action. Bloomington's effort to incorporate, of course, passed, and this is a order from Commissioners Court necessary, I guess, to formalize and to finalize that. Chris, am I missing anything important on that?
No, sir.
Okay,
As Bloomington is a new municipality, it comes to the county to issue some of their sort of beginning paperwork.
Okay.
Because they're located in the county, and they are a new thing as of the May 3rd election results and the canvass following.
very good. Thank you, Chris.
Yeah, so Judge, we had, Margetta had presented the canvassing of the votes. So we've accepted that through court. We needed to have the certification of the vote.
Okay, very good. All right, do we have a motion to approve item number 11, the certification?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. We'll all need a signature on that. Oh, is it a record vote? Thank you, Heidi. Okay.
All right.
We will take a record vote.
You
Commissioner
know what the record vote
Garcia.
is?
Aye.
Commissioner Ort.
Aye.
Commissioner Martin.
Aye.
Commissioner Sexton.
Aye.
I also vote aye. So unanimous vote.
I think the ayes
Thank
have
you.
it.
The ayes have it. All right, moving on to item number 12. That is to receive the fully executed fiscal year 25 TxDOT local government assistance allocation for precincts 1, 2, 3, and 4, and take appropriate action.
I was gonna take it all, but I'll let them split it with me.
I'm taking precinct 2s and 3s.
That's nice of you, Dan. Thank you so
Move
much.
to receive.
Second.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 13 is to discuss and consider approval of a contract with Centurion Planning and Design in the amount of $835,143.50 for a 30% design of runway 1331 rehabilitation and associated taxiway improvements design and take appropriate action. Hello again, Lenny.
Good morning again, Commissioners, Judge.
Good morning, Lenny.
A couple of weeks ago, I presented to you the feasibility of going ahead of the project and put the money aside for a couple of things. The design, 30% design, and also the parking lots at the airport. You graciously approved that, and now I'll bring you the contract so we can get started on that side. A little update on the parking lots. That project has gone to bid,
Okay.
and we're expecting bids mid-June.
Okay.
So we'll
Very
know
good.
about the cost of that.
Good, very
But
good.
this is the cost for the design, and this price is being approved by the FAA.
Very good. Glad that this is moving along swiftly. Any discussion on that before we approve? Do we have a motion to approve item 13?
So move.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Thanks,
sir.
Lenny.
Thank you.
Item 14 is to consider approval of a grant award from the Best Friends Animal Society Neighbor to Neighbor project to cover spay, neutering costs for Victoria County Animal Services and take appropriate action. Good morning, Mark.
Morning,
Good
Mark.
morning, Judge. Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning,
This
Marky.
is part of the Neighbors to Neighbors program that we were one of 13 cities across the nation to be picked to go to Phase 2, which is all the orange signs. The other part of this grant is for return to owner kits that we're giving out to the public. They're helping us pick some people in high intake areas that are valued at $542.45 a piece, I believe it was. So you're looking at almost a $5,000, in value grant. The $2,000 the check is for us to use as we see fit.
Okay.
To save lives.
I didn't see any paperwork
Yeah, I didn't
in
either.
here as far as the grant, because we would be approving the grant award.
Yeah, there should have been a paperwork for the check and then for the value of the kits.
Okay, okay. That may have just been a snafu somewhere in the process. We can
we still,
approve the grant, you said it was how much?
There's a check for $2,000.
Okay, we can approve a grant award of 2,000 and then just run that paperwork through whenever we get our
I'll make sure you get it.
hands on it.
okay.
And then I'll also just, for your FYI, I'll be speaking on this same topic tomorrow night at City Council about this program and trying to get everybody involved in it.
Good.
Excellent. Good
Good.
work, Mark. Thank you.
Well, how was the weekend at PetSmart?
I think we had 4 adoptions.
4 adoptions? Okay,
Good.
So we had 53 adoptions for the month, which is pretty high.
good. That's awesome.
Helps.
Yes, it does.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
Keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you. Move to approve.
Second.
We have a motion to approve a $2,000 grant from Best Friends Animal Society, and we'll ratify that paperwork next week or whenever we can locate it. All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item number 15, consider the following from the Victoria County Public Health Department and take appropriate action. A, receive fully executed regional local health services contract ending in 052. B, receive fully executed Hog Foundation for Mental Health Grant Project WRC-045. It says I don't know if that should be one, either one or I. C, approval of housing opportunities for persons with AIDS contract 5613/2-565-03. And finally, receive the fully executed Texas Healthy Communities Grant Contract number ending in 001, Amendment 1. Good morning, David.
Good morning, Judge Commissioner.
Morning, David. Morning, David.
So items A, B, and D are just receiving fully executed agreements that have come through court previously and have been approved. And then item C is a second amended budget for the Hopewell grant for our HARP division. And those are just line item transfers for areas of different benefits for our clients. But no changes to overall budget there.
Okay.
Easy enough. Any questions for David?
Move for approval.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on 15A through D. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Thank you, David. Item 16 is to hear and consider request to delay timelines in regard to Portside tax abatement agreement and take appropriate action. Good morning, Jonas.
Good morning. How's everybody?
Pretty good.
Great.
Doing well.
Yeah, so thank you. I had spoken to the judge about this. This is some challenges that one of the projects that we had approved a tax abatement on earlier, or end of last year, is facing due to the necessary interconnect agreement that they need with AEP. And so they had requested a delay on that. And as we were working with the county's attorney, he said that he needed this codified in official minutes for him to process that amendment to the application. So it's
We've already agreed to all this,
Yes,
though, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the discussion's not only been with me, the court's been apprised of that.
Yes.
And this also, and I don't know if it was an error on our end, I did not see any paperwork related to this.
There was an email request, and this is what Jim Allison requested, that we just have minutes so that he can process
Okay.
the amendment.
So it would be simply minutes taking action on the specific request, which was that a 2-year?
Correct,
A
yes.
2-year delay?
Yes.
Okay, so to be clear in the minutes, what we're talking about is delaying the timeline within that agreement by 2 years.
Yep. So it'll be begin in 27 rather than 25.
Okay, so beginning, what date in 27? Do we need
Begin in 29, excuse me.
beginning in 29
Construction
instead
would
of
have begun,
27?
yep.
Okay. So that can be reflected in the minutes when we get the motion, and that sounds like that would be sufficient for what, okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Just want to make sure we vote on what we need to, so we don't have to
Certainly. I
redo
apologize.
anything.
Yep.
Okay, all right. Is there a motion to approve a delay in the timeline regarding Portside's tax abatement, delaying that by 2 years until 2029?
So move. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, anything else we might need to know, Jonas?
Not at all. The market remains very strong for projects like these. One of the, projects are advancing at the Port of Victoria. Some of the tax credits were tweaked in the federal, the House version of the big, beautiful bill. So those projects that advance very swiftly can still reap the benefits of the renewable energy tax credits.
Okay.
Very good.
Good.
Well, thank you for
Thank
you. Thank you,
shepherding
Jonas.
this project along and bringing this to us.
Appreciate your help.
All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved.
Thank you.
And we'll get you
Thank
a
you.
copy of those minutes. It'll probably be tomorrow or today. As soon as we can, we'll email them your way.
Greatly appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks. All right, thanks, Sharon, to you as well. All right, moving on to item number 17, that is to consider approval of the following agreements for the county health plan and take appropriate action. A, Boone Chapman Administrative Services Agreement, and B, Saris Plan Sponsor Agreement. Good morning, Gianni.
Morning,
Good
Gay.
morning. These are our standard agreements that we do for our health plan every year. This is an annual agreement. Technically, this started in January, but we're operating under the current agreement. There's no difference between our current agreement and this one, other than the addition of the member advocate program that we added
Okay.
in January.
All right.
Very good. Simple enough. I know, yeah, we've talked about this, Gianni. Any questions on this? If not, do we have a motion to approve 17A and B?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Item 18, consider approval of the following contracts from the Victoria Regional Juvenile Justice Center. A, detention and residential contract with Cameron County. B, detention and residential contract with Anderson County. C, psychoeducational and counseling contract with Brittany Morris. D, detention and residential contract with Refugio County. E, detention and residential contract with Madison County. And F, detention and residential contract with Syntex Juvenile Services.
Move for approval.
Second.
Motion to approve 18A through F. All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved, and those are downstairs on my desk, so I'll sign them when I get back there. Number 19 is to consider approval of resolution number 2025-048 for a road donation valued at $573.84 for pipe and limestone from Albert Beeman at 206 Al Beeman Drive. I don't know what precinct is that?
3.
Precinct 3, okay.
Move to approve. Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. There it is. Moving on to item number 20, that is to receive an updated employment agreement for the Victoria Regional Airport Executive Director and take appropriate action. This only has one minor change from what was approved last week. 2.5 years ago, whenever it was, when the Airport Commission dissolved and the airport manager's direction came straight to Commissioner's Court, we implemented an employment agreement. At that time, there was reference to the Victoria Regional Emergency Response Complex. At that time, we were looking at having it on airport grounds. That same verbiage carried over into the newest agreement last week, which raised question and frankly some concern with some TDM folks thinking that this was a new effort to move oversight of that project away from our Office of Emergency Management elsewhere, which was not the case. It wasn't new language. So in an effort to clarify any potential misunderstanding there, we have simply omitted that verbiage from this agreement. That's the only change from what was approved last week and now. The VC REACT project remains, as it has been from the start, under the direction oversight of Rick McBrayer in our Office of Emergency Management. Obviously, Lenny will help to the extent needed. There's a airport question or height limitation question, all that. But no change in direction of the project. That's Rick in our Office of Emergency Management. So we have a new agreement simply reflecting that change with that one phrase omitted. This has already been signed by both Lenny and myself, so we would need a motion to ratify this updated employment agreement.
Move to ratify.
Second. So Judge, on that agreement that we have, updating that contract from last week, the reason that we had Lenny kind of, verbiage with Lenny in there was because it was at the airport property at the time?
Yeah, when the airport board dissolved and we were putting an employment agreement in place with Lenny and with Commissioners Court, we articulated some of the major priorities we had at that time, and frankly still have today. The VC REOC, the success of the Forest Service, who now has a presence at the airport, lease agreements, promoting the air service, various priorities. So we articulated those, including but not limited to. That was and is one of them. But like I say, it led to some concern and question with TDEM about a thought that we might be changing gears on this, which we're not. So that's the only rationale.
It's not showing up on ours, the contract.
Yeah.
So I just want to be clear. So the emergency management, Director of Emergency Management, which is Rick, is still the guy in charge. Lenny will work with him as needed, or how are we doing?
Yes, well, that project is a large and multifaceted project. Rick McBrayer, our Emergency Management Coordinator, is the point person on that project. Obviously, Grants has a big role to play in it. Right. It's lots of efforts, lots of moving parts. John Johnston and his crew have, a role to play. But yeah, Rick is the point person on that. But like with everything of this scale, it's a big team effort.
That's correct.
And as we need Lenny or have Eric, because I know one question that arose was the height parameters.
Obstruction analysis, Judge, and we're working on that.
Obstruction analysis, so, yeah.
And Commissioner Garcia, at the time, it was thought that this particular facility would go at the airport, so that would require heavily involvement of the airport director and working with the FAA, and that was particularly what we were looking for. But, there is not much of that involvement on that side of the house. There still would be a little bit on the obstruction analysis, trying to help John with, where to go, how to get this done, and I gave him some advice on that, and that will follow that and get that out of the way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, thank y'all for working that out. I know I went to the emergency management conference they had this week, and the importance and the roles that those guys play is incredible.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, guys. Thank you, Judge.
Very good. Thanks, Lenny. All right, did we have a vote on that, or just a second?
We didn't vote, just had a motion.
Okay,
Yeah.
and we had a second?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. All those in favor of receiving and ratifying the updated agreement, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And that is approved. Moving on now to item 21, that is to consider approval of the following 2025 budget amendments. A, General Fund, various departments expenditures. B, Road and Bridge Precinct 2. C, Road and Bridge Precinct 4, both expenditures. D, Airport Fund expenditures. E, Airport Capital Projects Fund revenues and expenditures. F, Elections Administrator Special Fund expenditures. And G, Capital Projects Fund expenditures.
Move for approval.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. Each need a signature on each of those. Item 22 is to consider approval of personnel changes and take appropriate action. It looks like, Gianni, I had on my desk, okay. I guess we might approve that.
Avery can't walk in by himself?
Yeah.
Okay, so in addition to what was in the packet, there will be included the form change in status, new hire, Flessner, that will be included. Do we have a motion to approve the personnel changes?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion approved. All right, our next item is a closed session on a few topics. One is personnel in various department. Two, a consultation with the county's attorney, who's now here. And third is economic development. Fourth is real property. We will go ahead and go into closed session for those reasons now at 10:46 a.m.
Judge.
Appreciate everybody's attendance here. I don't think we'll be taking any action once we come out of closed session.
Can I
Yes,
say
sir.
something back in public comment
Sure,
that I
sure.
meant to say a minute
We'll go
ago?
back to,
Can we, is that okay?
put the brakes on that, we'll go back to public
I didn't want to
comment,
interrupt
yes.
you, but I was trying to say, there was a bill introduced into the House by some senior reps and some big PACs that would have affected county real estate plotting by hiring a third-party person and taking any approval away from the county. It was a horrible bill. We brought it to the attention of Representative Louderback. Even though it had heavy support, he still voted against it. And I just want him to be recognized that the court appreciates how he stood by the counties in this bill. It was HB 23, it moved to Senate, SB 2354, and it died in committee. So I just wanted to mainly laud Representative Lauterback on standing behind us, even though he's a freshman and had some really heavy senior representatives supporting it and PACs, and he stuck to his guns.
Yeah,
And
he's doing a good job so far.
it passed the House, but he did vote against it, and it's appreciated.
Yeah.
Good stuff. I'm glad it failed. Yeah.
Well said. Thank you, Commissioner. And so now at 10:47 a.m., we'll go into closed session for those reasons I mentioned. Thank y'all for your attendance today. We are coming out of closed session at 11:30 a.m. Pursuant to VTCA Government Code 551102, return to open meeting and take any action deemed necessary. There is no action we deem necessary to take, and we will adjourn at 11:31 a.m.